Picture this. A guy walks into a Costco on a random Tuesday afternoon wearing a plain gray hoodie, basketball shorts he has owned since college, and a pair of running shoes that are clearly on their third or fourth life. He is pushing a cart full of bulk chicken, frozen vegetables, and paper towels. He pays with a debit card, no fanfare, no fuss. He loads everything into a 2015 Honda Accord with a small scratch on the rear bumper, drives to a house he paid off 7 years ago, and goes inside to eat leftovers from Sunday's meal prep. That guy is worth $4 million. And the only reason nobody knows it is because he looks exactly like your cousin who just got denied for a credit card. Same hoodie, same sneakers, same grocery run, wildly different bank account. And the thing that separates them has nothing to do with income, inheritance, or some secret investment app. It is one habit, one single, boring, completely unsexy habit that the wealthy have been practicing for decades while the rest of the world mocks them for it. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what it is, why it works, and why almost nobody is willing to do it. My name is Ivan, and today we are going to talk about the one habit the upper class quietly loves that makes them look completely broke. So, here is the core of everything we are about to unpack. The wealthy are strategically, deliberately, almost aggressively cheap on the things that nobody sees. And then they spend with precision on the things that compound over time. Read that sentence again in your head because it is the foundation of every single point in this video. The upper class does not care about looking rich. That is a game for people who are trying to convince strangers they have money. The wealthy care about being rich, and being rich means making boring, slightly embarrassing decisions about money in situations where other people would flex. It means driving a car that your coworkers make jokes about. It means eating the same 3 meals on rotation like you are training for something. It means saying no to dinners and trips and impulse purchases that feel good in the moment but quietly drain the account over time. And the reason this works is almost stupidly simple. Every dollar you do not waste on things that do not matter becomes a dollar that goes to work for you. Not for a week or a year, but for decades. And over decades, that one boring dollar turns into $5, $10, sometimes $20. That is the magic trick. That is the entire cheat code. And the wealthy figured it out a long time ago. They just never bothered to tell anyone because, frankly, it is kind of embarrassing to admit that the secret to building millions is just being cheap about stuff nobody cares about anyway. Let me introduce you to two people, Rich Richard and Poor Peter. Same age, same city, same income. Both of them earn $100,000 a year. Solid money, enough to build a very comfortable life. But the way they spend it, that is where the story splits. And the gap between these two guys is going to make you rethink every financial decision you have made in the last year. Let us start with the most obvious one first. Cars. Poor Peter just signed a lease on a brand new luxury sedan. Sleek, black, tinted windows, the whole package. $750 a month. He pulled up to the office parking lot and 3 people complimented him before he even got inside. He felt like a king. It looked like success. Meanwhile, Rich Richard is driving a 2017 Toyota Camry he bought used 4 years ago for $14,000. Paid cash. The car runs perfectly fine. It has a small coffee stain on the passenger seat that he has accepted as a permanent feature. Nobody has ever complimented Rich Richard on his car. Not once. And he could not care less. Here is what Rich Richard understands that Poor Peter has not figured out yet. A car is a tool. It moves you from one location to another. Everything beyond that basic function is a payment directed at other people's perception of you. Every extra dollar you spend above what a reliable car actually costs is a donation to your own ego. And your ego, as it turns out, is a terrible investment manager. Now, let us look at the math, because this is where it gets interesting. Poor Peter is spending $750 a month on that lease. Over a 40-year career, if he maintains that habit of always having a car payment, always leasing something shiny and new, he will spend approximately $360,000 on car payments alone. Richard bought a used car for $14,000, drives it for 8 to 10 years, then buys another one. His total transportation cost over those same 40 years is somewhere around $70,000. The difference, roughly $290,000. But it gets worse for Poor Peter, because Rich Richard did not just save that money. He invested it. $500 a month redirected into a basic index fund, averaging around 8% annually for 40 years turns into approximately $1.7 million. That is not a typo. One decision about a car repeated consistently over a career creates a gap of nearly $2 million between two people earning the exact same salary. And here's what makes this even more painful. An Experian study found that 61% of households earning over $250,000 a year do not even drive luxury brands. They drive Toyotas, Hondas, Fords. The people who can most afford the fancy car are the ones actively choosing not to buy it. That should tell you everything you need to know. Rich Richard is not cheap. He's running the numbers. He looked at the luxury sedan, did the math, and quietly walked over to the used Toyota lot. Meanwhile, poor Peter is posting his lease on social media with the caption, "Work hard, play hard," and his retirement account has $900 in it. And the real tragedy is not even the car itself. The real tragedy is what the car represents. Because a car payment is never just a car payment, it is the first domino. Once you have the luxury sedan, you need the outfit to match. Once you have the outfit, you need the restaurant to match. Once you have the restaurant, you need the neighborhood to match. And before you know it, your entire lifestyle is calibrated to impress strangers. And every paycheck is gone before it even arrives. Researchers call this lifestyle inflation, and it is the single biggest reason high earners stay broke. The money comes in and the spending rises to meet it every single time, like a gas expanding to fill whatever container you put it in. Rich Richard broke that cycle early. He decided that his lifestyle would stay roughly the same regardless of how much he earned. And every raise, every bonus, every side income went straight into investments, not into upgrades, not into shinier versions of things he already owned, into assets that grow while he sleeps. That is the difference. Poor Peter's money works for other people. The car dealer, the insurance company, the maintenance shop. Rich Richard's money works for Rich Richard. All right, now let us move from the driveway to the kitchen because this is the one that surprises people the most. Food delivery is one of the biggest silent wealth destroyers in modern life, and nobody treats it like the emergency it actually is. The average American spends approximately $1,850 per year on food delivery alone. And that is the average. If you are in your 20s or 30s living in a city, you are probably well above that. Some people are spending $3,000, $4,000, even $5,000 a year on delivery apps without even realizing it because it is $15 here, $22 there. It never feels like a lot in the moment, but it adds up into a number that would make most people sick if they saw it on a single receipt. Now look at what happens when you flip that. The average cost of cooking a meal at home runs about $3 to $5 per serving. The average delivery order is somewhere between $15 and $25 once you add fees, tips, and the mysteriously inflating service charges. That gap, roughly $10 to $15 per meal, is the quiet leak in your finances that nobody talks about. Rich Richard cooks. He meal preps on Sundays. He buys chicken and rice in bulk from the warehouse store. He has 5 or 6 recipes he rotates through like a playlist, and he eats the same lunch almost every day. It is not glamorous. Nobody is putting his Tuesday chicken bowl on a food blog. But look at the math. If you redirect even $2,000 a year from delivery spending into an investment account, averaging 8% returns, after 30 years, that grows into roughly $235,000 just from cooking your own food, just from deciding that you do not need someone on a bicycle to bring you a $16 burrito at 11 o'clock at night. And here's the part that really stings. The reason wealthy people can afford to go to a great restaurant when they actually want to is precisely because they are not wasting money on sad delivery food every other night. They save the dining out for when it matters, when it is intentional, when it is an experience. Poor Peter orders delivery 4 times a week and never actually enjoys a single one of those meals. Rich Richard cooks all week and then takes his family to a great steakhouse once a month. Same budget, completely different life. Being a hard customer, the kind of person who looks at a delivery notification and says no, that is a wealth habit. Being a soft customer, the kind of person who taps reorder without thinking about it. That is the habit that keeps people stuck. And every app on your phone is designed to make you the soft customer. Think about it. Every notification from a delivery app is a polite, friendly, carefully designed invitation to stay broke. Your favorites are waiting. Free delivery for the next 30 minutes. You haven't ordered in a while. They have entire teams of psychologists and behavioral engineers whose full-time job is to make it as easy as possible for you to spend money you should be keeping. And the crazy part is that wealthy people know this. They see the same notifications. They just delete them. They do not argue with the app. They do not negotiate with the craving, they just cook, and then they move on with their day. It is the most boring wealth strategy in existence, and it is one of the most effective. Now, the next habit is the one your friends are going to judge you the hardest for, and it is also the one that quietly funds everything else. Wealthy people say no to social plans like they are getting paid to do it. And in a way, they are. This is the part nobody wants to hear because it touches something deeper than money. It touches identity, it touches belonging, it touches the fear of being left out. But the math does not care about your feelings, so here it is. Your social life is one of the most expensive recurring costs in your entire financial life, and you have probably never once thought of it that way. A casual Friday night out is never just $40 for dinner. It is $40 for dinner, $15 for drinks, $12 for the ride there, $18 for the ride back, and then maybe another $30 for the second round you did not plan on but said yes to because everyone else was staying. That is over $100 on a Tuesday that started with the phrase, "Let us just grab a quick bite." Multiply that by 2 or 3 times a month and you are looking at $300 or more every single month that just evaporates into the atmosphere. Rich Richard is boring on Friday nights. He knows it. His friends know it. He leaves dinner at 8:30, he skips the second bar, he bails on the spontaneous Vegas trip. He goes home, reads for an hour, checks his portfolio, and gets a full night of sleep like a functioning adult. And every time he does, he quietly moves $200 into his brokerage account. Over 20 years, that $200 a month turns into approximately $118,000. Not because he made some brilliant investment call, just because he went home early. Meanwhile, poor Peter says yes to everything. Every brunch, every rooftop bar, every last minute weekend trip. He has incredible stories, fantastic photos, and a retirement account that looks like a parking meter. And here is what makes this even more painful when you zoom out. Every dollar you blow in your 20s is roughly $10 you are stealing from your 50s. Compound interest works in both directions. It rewards the patient and it punishes the impulsive. So that spontaneous weekend trip that cost $400 is not really $400. It is $4,000 of future wealth that just vanished because you did not want to be the person who said, "I am going to sit this one out." There is a guy I read about, early 30s, nothing extraordinary about his income, who started saying no to about half of the social invitations he used to accept. Just half. He still went out. He still had a social life. He just became selective. 2 years later, he had his first $50,000 invested. And the same friends who clowned him for being boring were texting him asking how to open a brokerage account. That is the arc. That is the trajectory. The person who gets mocked for being cheap today becomes the person everyone asks for advice tomorrow. And look, let me be clear. This is not about never going out. This is not about becoming a hermit who eats rice in the dark. This is about understanding that every yes to a plan you did not actually want to attend is a fee you are paying for social approval. FOMO is a tax. It is a real, measurable, compounding tax on your future. And the wealthy figured out something critical. The people judging you for going home early are not the ones paying your bills in 30 years. So their opinion of your Friday night is, financially speaking, worthless. Now, if you have been watching this far and some of these numbers are starting to land a little too close to home, I want you to know that I actually built something that helps with exactly this. There is a free quiz you can take. It is the first link in the description below. It asks you a few simple questions about your situation and then tailors a plan specifically to where you are right now. Everything is tailored to your actual circumstances, nothing generic, nothing one size fits all. Take the quiz when you're done with this video and see where you stand. Now, let us talk about the habit that completely breaks people's brains when they first hear about it, because it goes against everything you have been taught about what it means to have money. Wealthy people buy used stuff, and not reluctantly, not as a last resort. They love it, they are obsessed with it, they treat it like a competitive sport. Used cars, obviously we already covered that, but it goes way beyond cars. Used furniture from online marketplaces, used appliances, used designer clothes, from consignment stores, used books, used tools, used everything. And the reason is not that they cannot afford new. The reason is that they figured out something most people have not. The premium you pay for new is not a quality premium. It is a depreciation tax. You are paying an extra 30 to 50% just for the privilege of being the first person to open the box. The second you swipe your card, that premium evaporates. A new couch from a high-end furniture store, maybe $2,500. The exact same couch, same fabric, same manufacturer, 2 years old on an online marketplace because someone is moving and wants it gone by the weekend. $350. Nobody who walks into your living room is going to pull out a magnifying glass and check the production date. Nobody cares. The only person who knows the couch is secondhand is you, and the only person who benefits from that knowledge is also you, because you just kept $2,150 in your pocket. Now imagine doing that across every major purchase in your life: furniture, electronics, workout equipment, kitchen appliances, clothes. The savings add up into the tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. And the wealthy do not just pocket those savings, they invest them. $7,500 in furniture savings invested at 8% over 25 years becomes over $51,000 from buying used couches and dining tables. This is why you see wealthy people at estate sales on Saturday mornings, browsing through someone's entire life collection of furniture and housewares, picking up a $4,000 dining set for $250 because the family wants everything gone by the end of the week. They are not there because they have to be. They are there because they understand something most people never learn. New is a marketing concept. Quality is a physical property, and those two things have almost nothing to do with each other. And here's the psychology that makes this interesting. Rich Richard likes the game. He likes finding the deal. He likes the negotiation. He likes telling the story about how he got a $4,000 dining set for $300 because someone listed it on a Thursday and needed it gone by Saturday. To him, paying full retail price feels like getting robbed in broad daylight. To poor Peter, paying full price feels normal. Poor Peter walks into a furniture store and buys whatever is new on the floor because that is what he thinks successful people do. He has never once considered the alternative. That gap right there, that difference in how it feels to pay full price, is one of the clearest markers separating people who build wealth from people who perform it. All right, here is one more habit, and this one is interesting because it costs absolutely nothing to adopt, yet almost nobody does it. Wealthy people talk about money out loud, constantly, obsessively, without shame. They talk about interest rates at dinner. They compare brokerage accounts at coffee shops. They ask each other questions like, what is your savings rate? And are you maxing your 401k the same way other people talk about the weather? And in our culture, that is considered rude. We all grew up hearing the same thing. Do not ask what people make. Do not tell people what you earn. Keep money private. Keep it polite. And that advice, as well-intentioned as it was, has kept entire generations of working people financially illiterate. Because while you were being polite, the wealthy were sitting around kitchen tables comparing notes. They were swapping tax strategies. They were discussing which index funds had the lowest expense ratios. They were sharing which savings accounts were offering the best rates. They were passing information back and forth like trading cards, and every single piece of that information compounds over time. Rich Richard knows exactly what his friends invest in, what they pay in taxes, and what their savings rate looks like. Not because he is nosy, because they talk about it openly. They treat money the way athletes treat training. It is just a topic. There is no taboo around it. There is no emotional charge, just data. And when you treat money as data, you make better decisions. Poor Peter, on the other hand, he and his friends have an unspoken rule. Nobody mentions money. Nobody asks what anyone makes. They split the bill evenly, even when one person ordered 3 cocktails and the other had water. They talk about everything: sports, dating, the latest streaming show, everything except the one topic that actually determines the trajectory of their lives. And notice the pattern here. The people who refuse to talk about money are usually the ones who have the least of it. Not because talking about money creates wealth directly, but because avoiding the topic keeps you in the dark. It keeps you making decisions based on assumptions instead of information. It keeps you guessing when you should be calculating. It keeps you comparing yourself to illusions instead of benchmarks. The wealthy do not have some secret formula. They just talk to each other and share what works. It is the most low-tech, unsexy wealth strategy you will ever hear, and it might be the most impactful. The single biggest thing you can do right now, today, without spending a cent, is break the taboo. Find one person who is smarter than you about money and start a conversation. Ask the dumb question. Be the awkward one, because here is a secret. Wealthy people love talking about money. They are just waiting for someone to ask, and the information they share for free over a cup of coffee is the same information other people pay financial advisors hundreds of dollars an hour to hear. The taboo around money is the cheapest barrier keeping you broke. It costs nothing to remove it, and removing it changes everything. So we have covered cars, food, social life, secondhand shopping, and money conversations. 5 habits, 5 areas where the wealthy consistently make the broke choice while quietly building fortunes in the background. But none of it makes sense until you understand the one thing sitting underneath all of it: the real habit, the actual engine driving everything we just talked about. Every single behavior we discussed today, the used car, the home-cooked meals, the early exits from parties, the secondhand furniture, the money conversations, they are all just symptoms. They are surface-level expressions of one deeper psychological shift. And here it is. Wealthy people do not make financial decisions based on what other people think. That is the habit. That is the whole thing. They are immune to social pressure in a way that looks almost alien when you first encounter it. They do not care if their coworker thinks their car is embarrassing. They do not care if their neighbor thinks their lawn furniture looks cheap. They do not care if their old college roommate just posted a picture from the Maldives while they are sitting at home eating batch-cooked chicken and broccoli. Because they figured out one thing very early. The people judging their spending are not the ones paying their bills. Imagine making every financial decision in your life based on the opinions of people who are themselves one unexpected car repair away from a crisis. That is what most people do. They are taking financial cues from the crowd, and the crowd is broke. That is like taking navigation advice from someone who is also lost. The real flex of the upper class is not the watch, not the vacation, not the designer bag. The real flex is the absolute silence. The quiet confidence of knowing that your net worth is growing every single month while everyone around you is performing a version of wealth they cannot actually afford. The moment you stop performing wealth, you can start building it, because performing wealth is a full-time occupation. It demands constant spending, constant upgrading, constant attention to what other people have and how you compare. And all of that costs money. Real money. The kind of money that, if invested instead of displayed, would change your entire financial future. And it is not just the money. Performing wealth costs you mental energy. It costs you decision-making bandwidth. It costs you sleep when the credit card statement arrives and the numbers do not add up. It costs you the quiet peace that comes from knowing your financial house is in order even when nobody is watching. Rich Richard has that peace. He does not think about money with anxiety. He thinks about money the way a gardener thinks about a garden. Plant, water, wait, harvest. There is no drama, there is no stress, there is no keeping up with anyone. His relationship with money is boring, methodical, and deeply calm. Poor Peter thinks about money the way a gambler thinks about the next hand. Spend, hope, worry, repeat. His relationship with money is emotional, reactive, and exhausting. And the irony is that from the outside, poor Peter looks like he has more. Better car, better clothes, better social media presence. But from the inside, Rich Richard has everything that actually matters. Security, options, the ability to walk away from anything that does not serve him. That is wealth. The rest is theater. Rich Richard figured this out at 25. Poor Peter is still figuring it out at 45. The gap between them has nothing to do with intelligence, income, or opportunity. It has everything to do with who they were trying to impress. So let me leave you with something simple. Pick one of the 5 habits we covered today, just one. Do not try to overhaul your entire life in a weekend. The car, the food, the social calendar, the secondhand shopping, the money conversations. Pick the one that made your stomach tighten a little while I was talking about it, because that reaction, that discomfort, that is your ego telling you this is the one you need to work on. Drive the old car for 1 more year, cook for 1 full week, skip 1 weekend plan you were going to say yes to out of guilt. Buy 1 thing used that you were about to buy new. Have 1 real money conversation with someone who knows more than you. 1 habit, 30 days. That is the assignment. And I promise you, the math starts bending in your direction faster than you expect. You will notice something different about your account after those 30 days. The shift feels small at first, but the momentum builds on itself, and that momentum changes everything. But knowing the habits is only step 1. The real reason people stay stuck is not because they lack information. It is because of the invisible rules the wealthy follow that never get talked about publicly. Things like why they almost never buy whole life insurance, why they are obsessed with one specific type of debt that broke people are terrified of, and the strange way they think about their first $100,000 that completely changes the game. That is the next video, and after what we just covered today, you are going to want to see it.